The engine sputtered like a dying heartbeat, choking on its own rhythm as I rolled my bike into the shop. I was stranded, furious, and late again. Then I saw her, grease-stained and fearless, and everything I thought I knew about my heart broke down too. Ellie Harper, 28, wasn't supposed to be here. Not in this dusty corner of Asheville, North Carolina, where the Blue Ridge Mountains loomed like silent judges over her every mistake. She'd been running from herself for years, chasing freedom on her vintage Triumph motorcycle, but now it was betraying her, coughing and stalling like it knew she couldn't outrun her past forever. The shop smelled of oil and metal, a gritty perfume that clung to the air. Ellie pushed her bike through the open garage door, her boots scuffing the concrete floor. She was supposed to be halfway to Charlotte by now, meeting a client for a freelance graphic design gig that might have paid her rent. Instead, she was here in a place called Sam's Cycle Works, praying someone could fix her bike before sundown. A woman emerged from behind a workbench, wiping her hands on a rag. She was tall, maybe early 30s, with dark hair pulled into a messy bun and a face that carried the kind of quiet strength you don't notice until it hits you. Her overalls were rolled up at the sleeves, revealing forearms smudged with grease and a small tattoo of a wrench on her wrist. "Trouble?" she asked, her voice low and steady, like she'd seen every kind of breakdown before. "Engine's acting up," Ellie said, trying to sound casual, but her voice cracked. "Won't stay running. I'm kind of in a hurry." The woman, Sam, according to the name stitched on her overalls, crouched beside the bike, her hands moving with a surgeon's precision as she checked the fuel line. "Sounds like a fuel pump issue. Maybe a clog. Let me take a look." She glanced up, her hazel eyes catching Ellie's for a split second longer than necessary. "You from around here?" Ellie shifted, her leather jacket creaking. "Just passing through." It was her standard line, the one she used to keep people at arm's length. She wasn't here to make friends. She didn't do routes, connections, or anything that could tether her to one place for too long. Sam nodded like she'd heard that one before and went back to the bike. "This beauty's got character," she said, running a hand along the Triumph scratched paint. "But she's been neglected. You ride her hard." Ellie smirked despite herself. "Maybe a little." Sam chuckled, a sound that felt like a warm breeze on a cold day. "Yeah, well, she's telling me she needs some love. Let's see what we can do." As Sam worked, Ellie leaned against a nearby workbench, watching. There was something mesmerizing about the way Sam moved, deliberate, confident, like she could fix anything, not just engines. Ellie caught herself staring and looked away, her cheeks warming. She wasn't here for this. She didn't even know if Sam was, well, anything. Probably straight, she told herself. Most people were, especially in a town like this. "So what's got you in such a rush?" Sam asked, not looking up as she loosened a bolt. "Work," Ellie said quickly. "Got a deadline in Charlotte." Sam raised an eyebrow. "You don't strike me as the desk job type." "I'm a graphic designer. Freelance. I go where the gigs are." Ellie crossed her arms, feeling exposed. "What about you? You always been a bike mechanic." "Pretty much," Sam said, her tone easy but guarded. "Grew up fixing things with my dad. Cars, bikes, whatever rolled in. Took over the shop when he retired." Ellie nodded, unsure why she cared. She wasn't here to swap life stories. But something about Sam's voice, the way it carried a quiet pride, made her want to keep talking. An hour passed then too. Sam worked methodically, diagnosing the Asuya-clogged fuel line, just as she'd suspected. Ellie watched, torn between impatience and fascination. She'd always been drawn to people who could fix things, maybe because she felt so broken herself. Her last relationship had ended in a messy breakup with a woman who'd wanted more than Ellie could give. Since then, she'd kept her heart locked up tighter than her bike's engine. "You ever think about settling down?" Sam asked suddenly, her head still buried in the bike's guts. Ellie froze. "Not really. I like moving. Keeps things simple." Sam glanced up, her eyes searching Ellie's face. "Simple's overrated." The words hung in the air, heavy with something Ellie couldn't name. She opened her mouth to respond, but her phone buzzed in her pocket, shattering the moment. It was her client, demanding to know why she wasn't in Charlotte yet. Ellie muttered a curse and stepped outside to take the call, her heart pounding for reasons she didn't want to admit. When she returned, Sam was wiping her hands again, the bike purring softly on its stand. She's good to go, Sam said. Cleaned the fuel line, checked the pump. Shouldn't give you any more trouble. Ellie exhaled. Relief mixing with something else, disappointment? Thanks. What do I owe you? Sam waved a hand. First one's on the house. Just, maybe don't ride her so hard next time. Ellie laughed, surprised by how easily it came. No promises. As she swung a leg over the bike, Sam stepped closer, her expression unreadable. If you're ever back in Asheville, stop by. I'll keep her running for you. Ellie's throat tightened. She wanted to say something clever, something that would keep this moment alive. But all she managed was, yeah, maybe I will. She rode off, the engine humming beneath her, but her thoughts stayed in that shop, with the woman who'd fixed more than just her bike. The road to Charlotte blurred past, but Ellie's mind was stuck in Asheville. Sam's hazel eyes, that wrenched tattoo, the way her hands moved with such certainty, it all clung to her like the scent of oil. She told herself it was nothing, just a fleeting spark, but her heart wasn't listening. By the time she reached the city, the client meeting was a disaster. Ellie was late, disheveled and distracted, her thoughts drifting back to the shop. The client, a prickly marketing exec, tore into her half-finished designs, and Ellie barely argued. She took the criticism, pocketed half the payment, and rode back into the night, the Triumph's engine a steady pulse beneath her. She didn't go home. Home was a rented studio apartment in Raleigh, cluttered with sketch pads and empty coffee mugs, a place that felt more like a pit stop than a sanctuary. Instead, she pointed the bike toward Asheville again, telling herself it was just to check on the repair. Just to be sure. The shop was closed when she arrived, the neon Sam's Cycle Works sign dark. Ellie parked across the street, her breath visible in the chilly mountain air. She should have left. She should have ridden away and forgotten the whole thing. But then she saw a light flicker in the back of the shop, and before she could stop herself, she was knocking on the glass door. Sam appeared, her overalls swapped for a flannel shirt and jeans, her hair loose around her shoulders. She looked surprised but not unhappy. Back already? Bike acting up again. Ellie shifted, suddenly aware of how reckless this was. No, it's fine. I don't know. I was in the area. Sam's lips twitched like she was fighting a smile. In the area, huh? At midnight. Ellie's face burned. Okay, fine. I wanted to say thanks. Properly. Sam opened the door wider. Come in. I was just finishing some paperwork. The shop felt different at night, quieter, like it was holding its breath. Sam led her to a small office in the back, cluttered with invoices and a half-empty coffee pot. A photo on the desk caught Ellie's eye, a younger Sam with an older man, both grinning beside a vintage Harley. Your dad? Ellie asked, nodding at the photo. Yeah, Sam said, her voice softening. He taught me everything I know. Ellie wanted to ask more, but Sam beat her to it. So what's your deal? You show up, all leather and attitude, but you're running from something. I can tell. Ellie bristled. You don't know me. Don't have to, Sam said, leaning back in her chair. I fix things for a living. People bikes theory not so different. You've got that look, like you're one bad day from falling apart. Ellie wanted to snap back, but the truth in Sam's words stung. She'd been running since she was 18, from a family that didn't understand her, from lovers who asked for too much from herself. Maybe I like it that way, she said finally, her voice low. Sam studied her, her gaze steady but not unkind. Maybe, but it sounds lonely. The air between them felt charged, like the moment before a storm. Ellie's heart pounded and she hated how exposed she felt, how Sam seemed to see right through her. Why do you care? She asked, sharper than she meant. Sam shrugged, but her eyes didn't leave Ellie's. I don't know. But I do. They sat in silence for a moment, the hum of the shop's fluorescent lights filling the space. Ellie's phone buzzed again, another client. Another deadline, but she ignored it. For the first time in years, she didn't want to run. You want coffee? Sam asked, breaking the tension. It's terrible, but it's hot. Ellie laughed, the sound surprising her. Sure. Why not? They talked for hours about nothing and everything: bikes, music, the way the mountains looked at dawn. Sam told stories about growing up in Asheville, about her dad's obsession with old Triumphs, about the time she rebuilt an engine at 16. Ellie found herself opening up too, talking about her art, her restless need to move, The way she'd always felt like she didn't fit anywhere. As the sky outside began to lighten, Sam leaned forward, her voice quiet. You don't have to keep running, you know. Sometimes staying's not so bad. Ellie's chest tightened. She wanted to believe her, but trust was a rusty gear in her heart, and it didn't turn easily. Maybe, she said, standing. I should go. Sam didn't stop her, but as Ellie reached the door she called out, Come back tomorrow. I've got a bike you might like. Needs a test ride. Ellie paused, her hand on the door frame. You just want free labor. Sam grinned. Maybe. Or maybe I just want to see you again. Ellie rode away as the sun rose, her heart a tangle of fear and hope. She didn't know what she was doing, but for the first time in a long time she wanted to find out. Ellie didn't sleep. She rode in circles around Asheville, the mountain air sharp against her skin, trying to shake the feeling that Sam had cracked something open inside her. By the time she pulled back into the shop's lot at noon, she was wired on coffee and nerves, half convinced she'd imagined the whole thing. Sam was there, working on a sleek black Ducati, her hands steady as ever. She looked up as Ellie approached, her smile easy but laced with something deeper. Thought you might bail, she said, wiping her hands. Almost did, Ellie admitted, shoving her hands in her pockets. What's this about a test ride? Sam gestured to a restored Honda CB750 in the corner. Its chrome glinting in the sunlight. She's a beauty, but she's been sitting too long. Needs someone to take her out, see how she handles. Ellie raised an eyebrow. And you picked me? You're here, aren't you? Sam's tone was teasing, but her eyes held a challenge. They rode together, Sam leading the way on her own bike. A battered but beloved Yamaha. The roads wound through the mountains past forests ablaze with autumn color, the air alive with the scent of pine and earth. Ellie felt the Honda hum beneath her, responsive and alive, but it was Sam she couldn't stop watching her silhouette against the skyline, the way she leaned into curves with fearless grace. They stopped at a lookout point, the Blue Ridge Mountains stretching out like a promise. Sam pulled off her helmet, her hair catching the wind. So, what do you think? About the bike? Ellie asked, stalling. Sam laughed. Sure. Let's go with that. It's good, Ellie said, climbing off. Smooth. You did a hell of a job. Sam stepped closer, her voice dropping. I wasn't talking about the bike. Ellie's breath caught. She wanted to lean in to close the distance, but fear clawed at her. She'd been here before on the edge of something real. Something that could break her. Sam, I don't do this. I don't stay. Sam's expression softened, but she didn't back away. I'm not asking you to stay forever. I'm just asking you to stop running for a minute. The words hit harder than Ellie expected. She looked away, her eyes tracing the horizon. You don't get it. I'm a mess. My life's a mess. You don't want to get tangled up in that. Maybe I do, Sam said quietly. Maybe I'm not as straight as you think. Ellie's head snapped back, her heart racing. Wait. You're. Sam shrugged, a small smile playing on her lips. I don't like labels. But I like you. The world tilted. Ellie had assumed, like she always did, that Sam was out of reach. Straight. Safe. But now, standing here with the mountains as witnesses, she felt the ground shift beneath her. Before she could respond, a truck roared past, too close, its horn blaring. Ellie stumbled and Sam grabbed her arm, steadying her. Their hands lingered, the touch electric. Ellie's pulse thundered, and for a moment, she thought Sam might kiss her. But Sam just smiled, her thumb brushing Ellie's wrist before letting go. Come on, Sam said. Let's ride back. The rest of the day passed in a blur. They worked side by side in the shop, Ellie handing Sam tools, their hands brushing more than once. Every touch felt like a question, every glance an answer. But Ellie's doubts lingered, whispering that this couldn't last, that she'd ruin it like she always did. That night, Sam invited her to a local bar, a dive called the Rusty Chain where bikers and locals mixed. They sat in a corner booth, nursing beers and trading stories. Sam talked about her first love, a girl in high school who'd broken her heart. Ellie shared pieces of her own past, her conservative parents, the ex who'd wanted a future Ellie wasn't ready for. You ever think about what you're running toward? Sam asked, her voice cutting through the bar's noise. Ellie stared into her beer, the question sinking deep. I don't know. Freedom, maybe. Whatever that means. Sam reached across the table, her hand covering Ellie's. Freedom doesn't have to mean alone. Ellie's throat tightened. She wanted to believe it, but the weight of her past, her failures, her fears felt heavier than ever. She pulled her hand back, standing abruptly. I need some air. Outside, the night was cool, the stars sharp above the mountains. Sam followed her, not pushing, just there. You okay? She asked. Ellie shook her head, her voice breaking. I don't know how to do this, Sam. I don't know how to let someone in without breaking everything. Sam stepped closer, her voice steady. Then let me help you figure it out. Ellie looked at her, the world narrowing to just the two of them. And for the first time, she didn't want to run. Ellie stayed. For the first time in years, she didn't pack her bags or check the map for the next town. She rented a cheap room above a bookstore in Asheville, telling herself it was temporary, just until she figured out what this thing with Sam was. But deep down, she knew she was lying to herself. They fell into a rhythm, spending days in the shop, nights at the Rusty Chain, or on long rides through the mountains. Sam taught Ellie how to wrench, showing her how to adjust a carburetor, how to listen to an engine's secrets. Ellie taught Sam about art, sketching designs for custom bike paint jobs that Sam said were too damn good for this place. But it wasn't all easy. Ellie's fears didn't vanish overnight. Every time Sam got too close emotionally, physically, she felt the urge to bolt. One night, after a quiet dinner at Sam's small apartment, Ellie nearly did. Sam had cooked a simple pasta dish, and they'd laughed over cheap wine, their knees touching under the table. When Sam leaned in to kiss her, soft and tentative, Ellie froze. I can't, she whispered, pulling back. I'm sorry. Sam's face fell, but she didn't push. Okay. Talk to me, Ellie. What's going on? Ellie paced the small living room, her hands shaking. It's not you. It's me. I've screwed this up before. I hurt people. I don't want to hurt you. Sam stood, crossing her arms. You think I'm not scared too? I've been hurt, Ellie. I've lost people. But I'm here trying. Because you're worth it. Ellie's eyes stung. You don't know that. You don't know me. Then let me, Sam said, her voice fierce. Stop assuming you're gonna break me. I'm tougher than that. Ellie wanted to argue, but Sam's words cut through her defenses. She let Sam pull her close, their foreheads touching, and for the first time, she let herself feel the weight of someone else's faith in her. The next few weeks were a dance of closeness and caution. They kissed again, deeper this time, under the stars on a mountain road. They held hands in the shop, stealing moments between repairs. But Ellie's past kept creeping in. Late-night calls from her ex demanding closure, emails from her parents laced with judgment, and the constant pressure of her freelance work, pulling her toward the road again. One afternoon, as they worked on a client's bike, Sam got a call that changed everything. Her dad was in the hospital, a heart attack, serious but stable. Sam's face went pale, and Ellie felt her own heart lurch. I need to go see him, Sam said, her voice tight. He's in Raleigh. I'll be back in a couple days. Ellie nodded, her mind racing. Want me to come with you? Sam hesitated, then shook her head. I need to do this alone. But, will you be here when I get back? The question hung between them, heavy with meaning. Ellie swallowed hard. Yeah, I'll be here. Sam left that evening, and Ellie was alone in the shop, surrounded by tools and the ghosts of her doubts. She tried to work, but her hands shook. She tried to draw, but the lines blurred. All she could think about was Sam, and how much it would hurt to lose her. That night, Ellie got a call from her ex, Claire. I'm in Asheville, Claire said, her voice slurred. I need to see you. Ellie's stomach dropped. Claire was chaos, always had been. But she was also a piece of Ellie's past she'd never fully let go. Against her better judgment, she agreed to meet at a coffee shop downtown. Claire was there, looking older but still beautiful, her blonde hair tied back, her eyes sharp with hurt. You're different, she said, studying Ellie. You're softer. What's going on? Ellie shifted uncomfortably. I'm just trying to figure things out. With someone else? Claire's voice was sharp. I heard you've been hanging around some mechanic. Ellie's jaw tightened. That's none of your business. It is if you're throwing away what we had, Claire snapped. You loved me, Ellie. You can't just erase that. I'm not erasing anything, Ellie said, her voice rising. But I'm not that person anymore. I'm trying to be better. Claire laughed, bitter. Better? You'll run from her too. It's what you do. The words hit like a punch. Ellie left the coffee shop, her heart pounding, Claire's voice echoing in her head. Was she right? Was Ellie doomed to ruin this, to hurt Sam the way she'd hurt everyone else? She rode to the lookout point where she and Sam had stopped, staring at the mountains as the sun set. For the first time, she didn't want to run. She wanted to fight for Sam, for herself, for the possibility of something real. Ellie didn't sleep that night either. She sat in her rented room, sketching Sam's face from memory, her strong jaw, her quiet smile, the way her eyes seemed to see everything. By dawn, she'd filled a notebook with drawings, each one a piece of the woman she was falling for. When Sam returned from Raleigh, Ellie was waiting at the shop. Sam looked tired, her eyes shadowed, but she smiled when she saw Ellie. You're still here, she said, her voice soft with relief. Told you I would be, Ellie said, her heart racing. How's your dad? Stable, Sam said, leaning against the workbench. He's tough. Like me. Ellie laughed, but it was shaky. Sam, I need to tell you something. Sam's brow furrowed, but she nodded. Okay. I'm listening. Ellie took a deep breath, the words spilling out. I saw my ex last night. She showed up out of nowhere and it messed with my head. She said I'd ruin this, that I always do. And I'm scared she's right. But I don't want her to be. I want to be here with you. I want to try. Sam was quiet for a moment, her expression unreadable. Then she stepped forward, taking Ellie's hands. You're not gonna ruin this, she said, her voice fierce. You're not perfect, Ellie. Neither am I. But I'm not letting you go because of what some ex thinks. Ellie's eyes filled with tears. What if I mess up? Then we'll fix it, Sam said, pulling her close. Together. They kissed slow and deep, the shop fading around them. It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and for Ellie that was enough. Over the next few months they built something new. Ellie took fewer freelance gigs, staying in Asheville to help Sam at the shop. She painted a mural on the shop's wall, a vibrant design of mountains and bikes, with two figures riding side by side. Sam's dad recovered, and when he visited the shop, he hugged Ellie like she was family. There were still hard days. Ellie's doubts didn't vanish, and Sam had her own scars, fears of losing the people she loved, of being too much or not enough. But they faced them together, learning each other's rhythms like they'd learned the engines they fixed. One evening as they closed the shop, Sam pulled Ellie outside. The sky was ablaze with stars, the mountains dark against the horizon. Sam handed Ellie a small box, her hands shaking slightly. Inside was a key, etched with a tiny wrench. It's to the shop, Sam said, her voice low. And to me. If you want it. Ellie's heart swelled. She took the key, her fingers brushing Sam's. I want it, she whispered. They stood there, under the vast Carolina sky, two women who'd found each other in a world that didn't always make it easy. Ellie wasn't running anymore. She'd found something better, someone worth staying for. And as they kissed, the future felt like an open road, full of possibility with Sam by her side. The shop's neon sign buzzed to life behind them, casting a warm glow over the lot. Ellie looked at Sam, her mechanic, her anchor, her love, and knew she was home. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.